Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Africa Discourse channel. We are currently at Partnering for Change, an event hosted by Rich for Change in partnership with WeDo and NGIC. And then the theme for this year is women, economic empowerment, and then systems change. And then we are very privileged to have the CEO of Rich for Change, Madam Sophia, here. But I would want her to give us an introduction because I might probably not do a good job. So I want her to tell us about herself, then we'll go into the conversation. Welcome, Madam Sophia.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We just want to know a bit about you, why you started Reach for Change, and then we'll delve more into the conversation.
Yeah. So at Reach for Change, we support local social entrepreneurs who have innovations that we think can really basically change people and planet, change society for the better. So they're looking for what kind of challenges are we facing, and then they're using local community-driven solutions to address those. And we provide them with network scale, scaling opportunities, and a bit of capital, but a lot of capacity building. So that's basically our reason for being.
Yeah.
And we've been doing this since 2010. And I've been CEO of the organization for almost 8 years now, and have previously worked for a social enterprise also. And I'm really passionate about the areas of how we can combine entrepreneurship and like purpose-driven initiatives to really create change.
Okay, you guys have been doing amazing over the years, and thank you so much for bringing your initiatives into Ghana. So delving into 2025 with the team, talking about women and then empowering women and changing the narrative, what does it mean to you and why this theme?
Well, basically, I mean, women have the power to change the world. I mean, I think it's just sometimes I get so frustrated because I think it's such a basic an issue that 50% of the population should obviously have the same access to opportunities, access to rights, access to living their best lives, and it's frustrating to see some of the systemic barriers and the structural issues that we still have, especially when we talk about entrepreneurship and the female entrepreneur and her journey, which is a lot of times more challenging than the male entrepreneurial journey, if we can say that, because there is a lot of discrimination and stigmas and then very basic things that are different, like maybe you don't have the same access to capital or credit or these kinds of things. So it's I think it's an extremely important theme to highlight. I sometimes get frustrated that we're still talking about it. But having said that, there's a lot of wins in the world now where we see that a lot of conservative trends are coming along, and actually a lot of the advancements that women have made and that men have made for women also are suffering a backlash. So I think it's even more important now to talk about.
Okay, great. So if I'm to ask, after this event, after the conference, what are some of the key priorities or key areas you would be looking at this year? And then what are some of the initiatives we should look out for from Rich for Change for this year, 2025?
Well, we want to continue to work with those social entrepreneurs, those kind of local grassroots heroes who really have community-based solutions. I mean, they can be tech or they can be otherwise, but the community-based solutions that really have the power to kind of change the world. So we're going to continue to look for those. We want to continue to support across the entrepreneurial journey, which means that some of our programs and initiatives will be working towards changing mindset and making more children and youth interested in entrepreneurship. And in some of our programs, we'll be looking with maybe more mature entrepreneurs that are ready to scale and receive more investment. And how can we work with those? So I'm excited about both these opportunities because I think we need both.
Okay, great. So it looks like there's a lot that's going to be done this year. But I've had I think during some of the conversations, people mentioned that, if they had not been in this room, they might have not known what is happening and the initiatives Reach for Change is doing. So what are some of the things you would be doing to be able, if I want to join a Reach for Change program, how do I get in? How do I get to hear about what is happening?
Yeah, I think the best examples we have are the entrepreneurs that have worked with us before and helping them to become more visible. So we're actually looking this year at making a movie about the entrepreneurs that we support, and especially to raise, strong African voices and to showcase that. And that will hopefully work to spread some awareness. And besides that, we always, want to be more present on social media and everything. I mean, those who listen today can always reach out and let me know. And our team are always there, willing to talk.
Great. So I think getting back to the theme, and then on the 8th is International Women's Day, I just want to be able to understand you as a woman in social entrepreneurship. What are some of the barriers you faced, and how did you overcome it to be able to get to where you are now?
Yeah. Well, I think a number of the barriers that the women that we support, they mention, is number one, this kind of the stigma and kind of discrimination, which still, you find today, like thinking, oh, you should, you're going to take care of kids. How can you go out and, become an entrepreneur? That doesn't make sense. You need to stay home and take care of your kids, for example, or, these kinds of comments that can come, and be very hurtful, and in some societies more than others. Right, but a lot of the entrepreneurs from Ghana have mentioned that they get these kinds of comments, and so the stigma is a big issue. And then I think a second big issue is this, maybe I would say not the misunderstanding from investors, but globally we still have only 1% to 2% of venture capital that goes to female-led entrepreneurs or enterprises. So there is obviously some issue about who owns the money and where does that money go and how do you allocate that money. And we see that too. That's also very research based, that female entrepreneurs get different types of investment questions than male entrepreneurs. Male entrepreneurs often get questions about their vision or how they want to build a business, and female entrepreneurs often get the questions around risk, for example. So I see some of those things are kind of embedded into the system. So I think that around access to capital and getting more money is a second. Yeah. And then a third is also just mindset around, scale. That we see that the entrepreneurs that succeed really well, they come into the programs already thinking that, I'm going to grow my business, and they have a massive vision. And rather than a small vision. And I think that that's something we also need to work with, female entrepreneurs on.
Okay. So I think the second part of my question was, as a woman, you have led a social enterprise, Rich for Change, and you are in various countries now.
Yep.
So how were you able to break these barriers, if not all, some of them, and so that you'll be able to get to where you are with the organization now?
Yeah. It's a good question, personally. I mean, I think I've also faced issues where maybe the female voice is the only voice in the room with a lot of men. Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of the women listening will recognize this, how you can maybe say something in a room and then it's not really, listened to. But then if a man will pick up your same points and say it himself, everybody will be like, oh, interesting. So there are certain of these small things that I think are really frustrating. But as you go on with your career, you just have to keep on pushing. It's also really helpful if you have other ambassadors, other women or other men around you who can say, who can make aware of this situation. And then they can be like, listen, she said this. Listen to what she said. To have these kinds of sponsors around, I think is also really helpful. And then I would also say, something that I've had to learn, and something which I think all women, in professional settings, not only entrepreneurship, can learn from is, don't let anybody else diminish your voice. Be tenacious, and you have to believe in yourself. And don't think you're smaller than you are.
I had to learn that because I'm very smallish, so people like to take advantage of me a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Then you've had to learn, then you already have that instinctively. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. So this has been an interesting conversation with Madam Sophie, the CEO of Rich for Change. And thank you so much for joining us. But before she leaves, I'll just an open check. If you have anything you want to share with our audience before you leave, we are open to hear from you.
No, I love forums like this, and I love sharing inspiring stories. So I would encourage you guys to do the same. And if somebody wants to go into social entrepreneurship, I definitely recommend that too.
All right. Thank you so much. And this has been Africa Discourse Channel.
Yeah.
Thank you.